Hey, I'm doing a walking vlog, which has been a little while for me. So I've been thinking about this for a little while, and it's something that's actually a little bit, I don't know, hard, weird for me to talk about. I don't know. Basically, how am I holding this? I haven't done this in a while. So I'm working on Sylvie 3.0. If you guys haven't been following my vlogs, the short version of how to explain that is that I'm trying to develop in ways as a fighter that are like quantum leap kind of changes in the way I fight. And a lot of this has to do with kind of reaching towards the level of fluidity and freedom that I see in my favorite fighters, like in Golden Age Yodmoy fighters. That's not easy to do. Part of my process of 3.0, fucking hard work that I've been putting into it, is sparring every day with Yodpin Pon for an hour. And Kevin and I do this thing where we film it, right? So we film my rounds just on the GoPro, so it's just on the corner of the ring, and then we watch it when we get home. And there's always incoherence between how I feel and then what it looks like when I'm watching it later. It always looks better than it felt, which is kind of interesting. But so the thing that I'm kind of like struggling with right now, and the thing that is the subject of this vlog, is there are like, I don't know if it counts as like mental coaches or like life coaches or something, but they tell you if you have some kind of goal, right? Like say you want to be world champion. Instead of like waiting to feel good, waiting to feel happy about having attained your belt, figure out what having that belt would make you feel and feel it first, right? So you like cheat it. The reason this is really brilliant is that you actually never feel those things when you achieve the things you want. In Ronda Rousey's book, she talks about winning at the Olympics and how like empty that experience was for her. You think you have this like, all right, well that's settled, now I'm awesome kind of thing, and it's actually not really what you thought it was going to be. So it actually solves it on both ends of the scale to feel it first without the achievement, and then the achievement can actually kind of fill in maybe what you feel like you earned or something like that. But so I'm trying to think, what does 3.0 feel like, right? Like, what does it feel like before I get there? For me, it's like, I look at my favorite fighters, I look at these incredible Yodmoy, and I'm like, they look so free and fluid and wonderful. It would be like, if you've seen the movie Chariots of Fire, I'm sorry if I used the wrong word. I've only seen it once. But there's one of the runners, when they're talking about what's it like when you run, he's like, I feel God's pleasure when he runs. That's obviously wonderful, but if you like picture a marathoner, someone who works really hard, runs great distances, achieves great things, they don't feel great when they're like at mile 24, right? Like, they're not like super free. They've worked really hard to be able to tolerate that level of pain and intensity and fatigue. And so I think that's what I'm kind of coming up against. And I really like A Clockwork Orange, both the movie and the book, and I listened to it on audio, which was awesome because the guy who reads it is just fantastic. So I have his voice in my head. Short version, A Clockwork Orange, Alex is the anti-hero. He's this horrible young guy who commits violence and atrocities all the time and undergoes a state program that's supposed to kind of like rehabilitate him. And so basically they use like shock therapies and things like this so that anytime he is compelled with his own composition to do something bad, he actually feels very sick, like physically sick, and isn't able to do the bad things he wants to do, and so he's forced to be good, basically, because it's so physically off-putting to do the things that his constitution wants him to do. So there's this therapist or psychiatrist who's also like the parole officer type of person. Like, they're putting him in an experimental state program with this like rehabilitation, so he has to agree to it. Alex is no dummy. He's like, yeah, I want to do this because he doesn't want to go to jail. And so the parole guy, the like state psychiatrist guy, Alex is bullshitting him, right? Alex is like, oh, I want to be good. I really want to be good. It will be so wonderful to be good. And the psychiatrist has this awesome line. He says, the thing is, Alex, being good might not feel good. It might feel really, really bad. And I love having this part of this book stuck in my head because this is actually what I'm experiencing. Being good, I've always wanted to be good at Muay Thai, and like this kind of freedom that I see in my favorite fighters, this kind of like fluidity and beautiful movement in Karahat and Yodkumpan's elbows and things like this, that might not feel good. Like, it looks good, it looks really free, but it might feel really, really bad. And so the things that I'm doing in my training that I'm like, there is this disassociation, an incoherence between what I want out of my Muay and then what it actually feels like to do those things, and it doesn't feel good, then I'm like, there's something wrong. Maybe there's nothing wrong. There's this bird flying up here. It's fucking beautiful. And I'm like, oh, he's so free. It might not feel that way to that bird. That bird might be like really struggling to fly. I can remember times in college when I was running. I just had Nick Cave in my ears and I was just running. I had no distance I had to cover. I was never trying to get better as a runner. I would just go out to run as like a stress relief kind of thing. That felt good. Like, I remember these poignant moments of like feeling really free in those moments, but I remember them because they're moments. Like, they're really, really short. They're like possibly 50 seconds or something. And I have that in Muay Thai. I have a collection of very, very short moments of feeling super free. And I think that I'm just trying to like wrap my head around this possibility that like actually becoming the kind of fighter that I want to be, being beautiful in Muay Thai, having the kind of freedom that from the outside looks absolutely beautiful, it might not feel good. It might feel really, really bad when you're doing it, but you still get to be that thing. So going back to this like, I don't know, like life coach thing about like, what would that mean to you? And then feel that first. Maybe I need to feel the kind of freedom and confidence and beautiful fluidity that I want as a fighter all the time, like outside of the achievement of doing it under pressure in the ring, which is like feel the thing before attaining the belt, if that's what you're into kind of thing. And that fits with what I think, which is that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So, you know, if you're scared in the ring, or you're like, a lot of women contact me and they're like, I'm not aggressive enough in sparring, and I'm like, yeah, because you're not aggressive enough in life. Like, you have to do it on both sides of the coin. You can't just be one kind of person in the ring and not work on yourself outside of the ring. You're the same person in and out. I think I'm coming up against that in a more detailed way with this, which is that I have to be more free everywhere in order to be more free anywhere, which includes the kind of Muay I want in the ring. So that's what I've been thinking about and struggling with. Read A Clockwork Orange if you haven't. It's really good. Kubrick made the movie. It's also really good. Book is better. I don't want to sound like a total nerd saying that. I don't like people who are snotty about like, oh, the book's so much better, but the book is actually better. You can listen to it on audio. It's really good that way. But so that's what I'm thinking about. That's the vlog that was in my head. And I've just done a little walk around the neighborhood in order to document that. So thank you guys for listening to me blab. Maybe you can hear the wetness of my shoes as they slosh. It's been raining for like 5 days. But yeah, chew on that. I'll talk to you guys later.